Hi guys, I'm Erik, and welcome back to CanadaCasino, your guide to online gambling. Today, we're going to go through a beginner's guide to Texas Holdem poker. Texas Holdem is the most popular poker variant in the world right now, and after this video, you're going to be set to hit the tables. Texas Holdem poker is a game played between you and the other people sitting at the table. Each player is dealt 2 cards, and then 5 community cards are dealt in the middle. The goal for Texas Holdem poker is to make up the best hand as possible, made up of 5 cards from the table. These hands can be made up of 2 from your hand and 3 from the pool, 4 from the pool and 1 from your hand, or even all 5 cards from the pool to get the best as possible. The hands you'll be looking out for in Texas Holdem poker are as follows. Starting at the bottom is a high card. This is 1 card with a high number value. Above that, we have 1 pair, which is 2 cards with the same number value. Above that is 2 pairs, so we have 2 sets of cards, which the numbers match, so 2 2s and 2 4s. Then above that, we have 3 of a kind, which is 3 cards with the same number value. Then, above that, we have a straight, which is numbers numerically, all 5, so it'll be a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or it can be any other combination as long as they line up. After that, we have a flush, which is 5 cards which all have the same suit. So all hearts, all diamonds, all clubs. The following are the 4 best hands you'll have to keep your eye out for. Starting off is a full house. A full house is when you get 3 cards of one number and 2 cards of another. So 3 3s and 2 2s will make up a full house. Above that, we have a 4 of a kind. 4 of a kind is when you have 4 cards all with the same number value, so like 4 4s. Then, even higher than that, we have a straight flush. A straight flush is when you have numbers, all 5 in a row, of the same suit. So it will be a spade, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or any other numbers with a combination of 5 in a row. And then lastly, the cream of the crop, the best you can be, is the royal flush. This is a hand, all the same suit, from 10 to ace. So it will be a 10, a jack, a queen, a king, and an ace. This is the best hand you can hope for, and you're really lucky if it happens. Due to Texas Holdem poker being a casino game, there is betting involved. In this section, we're going to go through each stage of betting that is within one game. So, starting off, there is a dealer button on the table. The dealer button will move 1 to the left after each game. So a game's complete, it'll move to the left, another game is complete, it'll go to the left again. So, to the left of the dealer button is the small blind, and to the left of them is the big blind. The small blind will put in a half bet, and the big blind will put in a full bet. These are mandatory bets, and their purpose is to get the game started so there's money in the pot. After the big blind, it will pass on to the next player to his left. This player can either fold his hand if they don't like the cards, they can call the bet, so putting in the same amount of money, or they can raise, so put in more money if they like their hand better. This same rule applies for everybody going around until everybody has the same value put in or nobody's left. After the first round of betting, all 3 of these players have decided to play and called the bet. So they all have 2 chips in. For the purpose of this video, we're going to show all the hands, but remember, your hand is private to you and you don't want anyone else to know it. So we'll flip the hands. Now that the first round is done, and the bets are all equal, starts the second. And here comes the first 3 community cards, which is called the flop. The dealer will burn 1 card, and then flip 3 cards to be used. This is called the flop, and now another round of betting will commence. So, it'll go to the small blind, and you'll have a bet, and then the same rules apply as in the previous round, until all the bets are equal once again. After the flop, you gain an additional option to perform with your hand, and it's called a check. A check is what happens when you're okay with your hand, but you don't want to bet any more money, so you pass the betting onto the person to your left. That person now can either check, fold their hand, or bet more money. Now that the post-flop betting is started, let's take a look at each player and see what hands they have to work with. Starting on my right, we have a pair of queens, which is really good, and 3 9s in the community cards. We also have a 4-7 and then a king 10. As we can see from what we learned previously, Player to my right has a full house and is a very good hand, so they'll be inclined to bet more. Due to the player on my right having a full house with his hand, he's gonna bet 3 blue chips on this. My hand, however, at a 4-7, is not looking too great, so I'm gonna fold. Not playing anymore and leaving my chips in the pot. The player to my left, however, has a king 10, so he might think he has the possibility of getting something good, so he calls with 3 chips of his own. Now that the second round of betting is concluded, we will draw the turn, which is the 4th community card. The dealer burns 1 and draws the 4th. The player on my right has decided to check, so not betting anything, and so is the player on my left, which is concluding this round of betting. Since the 3rd round of betting has been completed, this will start the 4th round with the river. So the dealer will burn a card and draw the 5th community card into the pool. The player on my right has a very good hand, so he's gonna bet 2 more blue chips. The player on my left, however, doesn't have anything, so he's gonna do what is called a bluff. He is gonna bet chips even though he has nothing, but he's gonna put all of his chips in, which is referred to an all-in. The player on my right is confident enough with his hand, so he will call his all-in and leaving the bets at equal. That concludes the final round of betting. Now what happens is called the showdown. Each player will show their hands to each other, and the better of the 2 hands will win. The player on my right shows a pair of queens with 3 9s, which means he has a full house. The player on my left has a king 10, but since he has the community cards, he has a 3 9s and an ace king kicker. Still a very good hand, but because this player has pocket queens, he walks away with a full house and the full pot. Well, that about wraps up our beginner's guide to Texas Hold'em poker. Remember, learn those card hands, and when you're playing, if you have a good hand, bet, but if your hand isn't so good, maybe check and get some free cards out of it. If you like this video, make sure to like and comment, and remember, subscribe to stay tuned for more in-depth poker guides coming soon. I'll see you next time.